Hello and welcome to the Watchful Citizen. I'm going to be your host today. My name is Josh Cramer. I have with us a very special guest that hopefully some of you will recognize because she is also, in addition to what we're going to talk about today, the co-host for this television show. I have Barb Baier. She's a longtime Democratic activist and volunteer for this television show. She also happens to be our current school board representative for the Lincoln Public Schools in District 3. But today we're going to talk about something that she's planning to do in the near future. So Barb is setting up for a run for county commission. Barb, why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about what exactly a county commissioner does?
Sure. Well, a county commissioner, there's 5 of them, and right now we have nothing but Republican representation on the board. They go and they determine things like property taxes on for roads in the rural county. They are supposed to work with the city on streets that connect with those roads. That's kind of iffy. They run the county jail. They do a lot of health and human services. They fund mental health, community mental health services. They are the ones that fund Lancaster Manor for the indigent, elderly poor to have a place to live in their older years. They go and provide general assistance, which definitely helps people keep from being homeless. They have the juvenile detention facility, which can help turn children around to a better life. They are very instrumental in things like drug court. There's just a lot that the county board does.
Well, that's interesting and maybe surprising to some of our viewers. I think it's not one of those offices that immediately pops to mind. You know, people might think of mayor on the city level, they might think of city council, but as you just said, county commissioners have a lot of control of many things that are very important to our community. Can you reflect a little bit about why you would be running to be county commissioner?
Yes, I feel as though that in recent years the County Board of Commissioners has lacked public transparency, public accountability, and fiscal responsibility in a lot of their decision making. And one of the chief concerns I have right now is with the county jail. They're putting before us on the primary on May 13th a vote, yes or no, on a $65 million bond for a new county jail. They have been for the last year or so developing plans for a $95 million jail. They do not have plans for a $65 million jail at this point. They have started some design work on, we don't know how much of a cost of a jail. It appears that they're anticipating a no vote, which would allow them to quite likely go to the Public Building Commission, float bonds up to 26 years at, your guess, any amount, to build a jail that, from my interviewing of staff, from my studies of data, both locally and nationally, particularly the very prestigious Pew Charitable Fund's study on jails and prisons across the country, is most likely not needed. The United States has the highest incarceration rate of any country, not just one, you know, in the free world, but any country. And that's one person out of 100 is either in the jail or a prison in this country. And we have been going and trying to solve some of our social service needs by, frankly, incarcerating people. It's a conservative estimate to say that in our county jail right now that 25% of the people there have severe mental health problems. They should be treated for mental health issues. Also, skyrocketing costs on jails and prisons is starting to break the budgets locally and on a state level. And states like Kansas and Texas that have very strong law enforcement and incarceration rates have found that they can no longer sustain this level of incarceration. And they have started something called Alternatives to Incarceration. And so has Lancaster County. We're just a little bit behind the curve, but we have been doing that. And that is mostly electronic bracelets that monitor your whereabouts, house arrests, community service, things of that sort for nonviolent offenders. And then linking them to the community services that they need so they don't end up in the justice system. And our community corrections program here in Lancaster County has proven to be very successful. It has in Kansas and Texas too. It's so successful in Kansas and Texas that they're finding that they don't need to build more jails and prisons. So I really think we need to call the county board on this. We need to say, hey, we property tax payers cannot afford a $65 to a $95 million jail. We need to stop the revolving door of the county jail and start using community corrections and reconnecting nonviolent offenders to our communities so that they are functioning, that they have jobs, and that they are paying taxes.